It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the four films of August 4th, 2006. And on today's show, we have the latest starring Will Ferrell, an animated comedy from the writer of Jimmy Neutron, starring Kevin James. We also have a horror film in which a group of ladies go down into a cave, and of course, horrendous shit await them. And also Robin Williams in probably one of his most underrated movies I've ever seen. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But, of course, we've got the biggest new release of the weekend, which is Will Ferrell starring in Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Americans to take risks.
Oh, no! Give me another!
If your name is not Ricky Bobby,
He's got two first names. Does that blow your mind?
then you're not him.
I'm on fire! You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby! Help me, Oprah Winfrey!
Will Ferrell.
Ricky Bobby is not a thinker.
I'm a driver.
I'm so paralyzed! I can never learn to play guitar.
You don't need your legs to play guitar.
Don't tell me lies!
Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
Okay, I probably should, we'll get to my thoughts on this in just a little bit here. Let me just tell you the plot about this movie. Will Ferrell stars as the titular Ricky Bobby, an immature yet successful NASCAR driver who ends up having something happen to him, and he's basically got to reevaluate his life. And gee, that hasn't been done before in a Will Ferrell movie. Yeah, controversial opinion time. I know a lot of people like this movie. I know a lot of people saw it. It was a big hit when it came out. It made double the money that Anchorman did, but honestly, I don't like this movie a lot. And I like Will Ferrell a lot. I like Adam McKay's comedies, but man, this one has not held up well over time. I didn't even like it that much when I saw it back in the day in theaters. I mean, I went to see it in theaters like everybody else did, but I don't know, just something about this movie just really irked me the wrong way. It just really wasn't that funny to me, with the exception of the scene where Ricky thinks that he's paralyzed and he sticks the scissors in his knees, and it's just like that. The whole scene in particular with him, John C. Reilly, and Michael Clark Duncan, just that's funny stuff right there. Other than that, the rest of the movie suffers big time. It really, really does. I don't think the jokes were really all that funny. I thought this really good cast they assembled here. You know, Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Sacha Baron Cohen, pre-Borat, by the way. The movie, of course, not the TV show. Gary Cole, Michael Clark Duncan, Leslie Bibb, Jane Lynch, Amy Adams. I mean, talk about a strong cast here. And this is done by the same people that made Anchorman, which is still one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. But it just doesn't come together here in this movie for me. It just really isn't that funny. It falls into a lot of the same tropes we've seen in so many Will Ferrell movies. He's got to scream a lot. And we've seen a lot of those movies where it has worked. Even stuff that people did not see, like Kicking and Screaming, Bewitched from the year before. Yeah, this movie helped to put it back on the map in terms of the box office, but was it really worth it in the end for the film itself? Because honestly, me personally, I don't think it's that funny. I really didn't get a whole lot of good laughs out of it. I thought the writing overall wasn't that strong. Things just happen for the sake of happening, and yeah, that's the kind of the point of these movies in particular, but I've seen many movies that have done that so much better. This one, not so much. And as much as I like everybody in this movie in terms of the cast, I just didn't think they had enough there to really work overall in terms of the humor and the writing. Like, I don't know. I just came out of this movie felt like very underwhelmed. I was really disappointed by the end result of it. And I mean, I don't hate the movie, but it's just, I don't think it's as funny as everybody else makes it out to be. I kind of feel the same way about Adam McKay's next movie he would make, Step Brothers, which, I mean, it's a movie that I think is a little bit better, but I don't think it's that great either. I mean, it still pales in comparison to the Anchorman movies. I still think the Anchorman movies are much funnier than this movie or Step Brothers are. But then again, that's just my personal take on it, honestly. I mean, I don't think this is, bottom line, I don't think Talladega Nights is all that great. It's not a bad movie, just more of an underwhelming film. I was really disappointed the first time I saw it. I've tried to see if it's held up better over time, and so far, it really has not for me. So for me personally, it's a skip for me, Talladega Nights. But then again, I'm the only person that will probably think that, honestly. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Barnyard, the original Party Animals.
It is a ritual that has been practiced secretly for generations. An act so disturbing, it is performed only under the cloak of darkness. horror feared in pastures all across America.
That's called cow tipping. Oh, that so stings me.
In 2006, the Barnyard is rising up
Where?
and taking a stand.
You know how to drive, right?
Oh, we are so talking. Are we not talking?
Talking a talk and walking a walk. Walkie-talkie, huh? Let's go.
It's our car.
Remember how to do this?
I remember.
Here we go. 1,
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Bang!
That's called boy tipping.
Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon Movies present the greatest adventure ever on 4 legs, 2 legs, 4 legs, 2 legs, 4 legs. You get the idea. Barnyard, the original party animals.
You gotta move! You gotta move! You gotta move!
I mean, that trailer kind of gives you an indication of what the movie's bad elements are going to be. The animation is very choppy, and yeah, I think you could obviously see some big problems here because, yeah, Kevin James is playing a cow with udders. Male cows don't have udders. That's female cow. That's female cows that have the udders, and every cow in this movie has udders. And for some reason, the people who made this movie didn't even think that, and maybe that's why the movie has a bad reception in terms of critics. But yeah, move over, all you pretenders. That's literally really the synopsis from Paramount itself. Here are the original party animals, the animated gang of Barnyard. This laugh-filled adventure stars Otis, a carefree cow who spends his days singing, dancing, and playing tricks on humans, much to the dismay of his father. His father being played by Sam Elliott. Otis is played by Kevin James, of course. And there are times when Steve Odenkirk can be really funny, who's the writer and director of this movie. You know, he did Ace Ventura 2, he wrote The Nutty Professor, he did Bruce Almighty, and of course he did Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. Then he does stuff like Patch Adams and Evan Almighty, and then a movie like this, and yeah. The proper term to describe this movie is literal cow shit. This is just a shitty movie, man. And it's not even just about... It's just a bad movie. The animation is shit. The voice cast is way too talented and not given much to do here. They're shit. The story is all kinds of bullshit. It's just a shitty movie that should have been so much better than it actually is. Take a drink every time I say shitty. My biggest problem with the movie is that it's just everything about it. The animation doesn't work. It's very choppy. It's very, like, chopped and screwed. Like, it doesn't feel like it has that same vibe that Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius did. The character designs look terrible. The human characters in here look absolutely horrible. And I don't know what happened, but the animation overall doesn't move as vibrant and fluidly as the studio thinks it does. I mean, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius had some ugly designs to it, but they at least move like you expect characters to move in movies like this. But you got a really good voice cast in here, wasted in here. Every single one of these actors, I think, deserves a lot better than this. You got Courtney Cox, Wanda Sykes, Sam Elliott, David Koechner, Danny Glover, Kevin James, of course. Andy McDowell's in here as well. They're all wasted in this, and they're not really given a whole lot to do. This is pre-Adam Sandler movie Kevin James, by the way. Back when Kevin James had some life to him, and everyone thought he had a bright future ahead of him. And it has one of the most predictably cliched riddled messages I've ever seen in my life. You could single-handedly predict every single story point from other animated movies in this movie. Any movie in general, to be quite honest with you, that this film does. There's not a single bit of originality in this fucking movie whatsoever. And that goes for the comedy, too. The comedy really is not that great. I mean, Jimmy Neutron had some lackluster animation, too, but at least they were trying to make it up for the smartly written comedy. And here, it's like Nickelodeon basically told Steve Odenkirk, make this the most blandest, safest, cheap joke-filled movie you could possibly make with no creativity whatsoever. And it definitely shows here. And, yeah, Barnyard's just bad all around. I mean, it's a movie that literally has nothing about it that's redeemable or entertaining. It's pointless like the original, like the whole franchise is. I mean, the movie is literally set up the Barnyard TV series, which even that is not that great of a show. Yeah, it's great meme material if you want to see some of the stuff from that show in particular, but... And even there, they waste a lot of good talent, too. Chris Hardwick is the voice of Otis on there. I love Chris Hardwick. And he's not really given a whole lot to do there, except just to be Diet Kevin James. That's about it. I mean, it's a bad movie. It's a bad TV series. It's a bad everything. It's dead on arrival. I really hate Barnyard a lot. The only positive thing I could say about it is, at least it was better than the Ant Bully, but even then, that's not really saying a whole lot, so... So not much more to say about that one. Let's move on to the next movie, and that is The Descent.
Hey, give me a smile. Gino, are you sure we're going the right way?
I've never been lost in my life. There's only one way out of this chamber, and that's down the pipe.
I can't breathe. Look, Sarah, you have to calm down. I'm coming back. Okay? Okay. Okay, move. Now! Now! This is not good, guys.
Can we get out of here? Which way?
I don't know.
Sarah said she saw someone back
Saw
there.
what?
I don't think I saw someone. I saw someone. No. You heard something and you saw what you wanted to see. It's the dark. It plays tricks on people. Ah, please. Is there anybody batteries on our lights will run out.
Stupid white people. I mean, that's... What more can you say about that? But there is more to this. Trust me. I know that this looks like another movie like The Cave or The Pyramid or these movies where these people clearly should not be going to the specific place in general. But there is a notable difference about this particular movie that I think holds up a lot more than you would think. But in the film, you have 6 women who enter an uncharted cave system and struggle to survive against the monstrous cannibals inside. And yeah, it's a plot we've seen done to death so many times before. And yeah, this is a movie that should be up there with some of the worst of its kind, but it's anything but that. I was actually really, really surprised at how much this wasn't a bad movie. It's not a great movie overall, but what makes it work are the fact that, like, the women in this movie are actually well-acted actresses. They're given their parts very well. You do actually care about their thing overall. You do care about what they're trying to do and how they're trying to get out of here and the situation that they're in. I think the cinematography is actually really good here. I think Neil Marshall does a very good job of handling this without making it seem like it's something we've seen done before. And it does get some legitimately terrifying, creepy elements to it. I mean, yeah, it's a film that probably should not exist because these people should be much smarter than this movie makes it out to be, but they actually do have elements to them where it's just like, yeah, it's a very interesting film that's literally shot inside of a cave. No, it's not. I thought it was shot inside of a cave for a second there, but no, of course they wouldn't do that. But they did a pretty good job of making you think like they did. I mean, it's a very good movie if you really are afraid of if you have claustrophobia, if you're like scared of like tiny spaces in general, and like someone like me, I'm not very claustrophobic, but man, when you watch these situations that these women find themselves in, and you do start to tense up a little bit. You do start to feel what they're feeling inside, and I think that's a good example of what I think that really works towards what the movie's trying to sell you on. So yeah, it's a formula that could have easily been just another bland, predictable horror film in general, but it adds another element to it. I think it works because there is a scare factor to it. I think the cinematography does a very good job of putting you in the scenario with these ladies, And the performances overall are very good. I mean, it has a really good tense feel to it that actually does work in the final product overall. Not the best horror movie, but much better than I had any thought of it going into it. I mean, I thought it was not going to be that great, but I am glad I kind of saw it. It was actually a pretty good movie. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the last film we have here, and that is Robin Williams starring in The Night Listener.
As a storyteller, I'll lay out the events exactly as I remember them.
Take this with you. We're publishing it next quarter.
I want you to believe this, after all. That'll be hard enough as it is.
You'll have real questions after you've read it. I've spent over a year speaking with him. He told me things that you couldn't imagine. How old is he? 14. He's a brave kid.
Hi, it's Pete Logan.
I was really impressed by your book.
Behind every life is a story.
I swear it's really you.
Why wouldn't it be me?
Hello, this is Donna Logan. I'm sorry to cut this short, but
He's a very sick boy. He doesn't have very long.
This must be very hard for you.
I'm worried about Pete. I think it's possible they're being a little melodramatic here. It seems so over the top.
Why would someone do that?
I don't know. Money, maybe? To sell a book?
There's ways to prove this.
Behind this story, there's a secret.
The number you have reached is not in service.
there is no record of any Pete Logan.
You think there's some sort of hoax your way off base?
Why?
Because!
Cute kid. Whoever he is.
I want to bang him. Like, I literally thought for a second that's what exactly what the next line was going to be, but, no, it was, of course it's not that, because that would be creepy and weird. But, this is The Night Listener. It stars Robin Williams as a late-night radio host in a big city, specializing in spooky tales called from his active imagination. And when Gabriel's lover decides he needs some space and moves out, Gabriel descends into a funk until a publisher friend brings him a manuscript written by a 14-year-old kid who's a troubled young fan. Pete's story touches the vulnerable Gabriel deeply, and he was severely abused by his parents and is now under the care of his former social worker, played by Toni Collette, who has adopted him. Pete is very ill, and he and Donna are keeping a low profile in a small town in Wisconsin to avoid discovery by Pete's mother. Gabriel develops an unsettling long-distance telephone relationship with the boy and his guardian. Nothing is as it seems, and the skepticism of friends causes Gabriel to be suspicious of Donna and her motives. So he tries to resolve the loose ends by traveling to Wisconsin to confront Donna and Pete, but the effort is largely unsuccessful, and we are left wondering if Pete is real, if Donna is really blind, or if Gabriel is the deranged soul of the story. And I gotta say, man, this is a movie that I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did, but I really love this movie, man. This is definitely one of Robin Williams' more underrated dramatic performances. I mean, he's given it his all in this movie, and he's got a great cast to surround him. Toni Collette's really good in the movie. Bobby Cannavale, who plays his gay lover, is very good in the movie for the little bit he's in. Joe Morton is very good. Rory Culkin. I mean, the mystery overall is really good. I was really caught up and hooked up to what was going to happen in this movie. I wanted to know, like, how is this going to end? Like, what's the big twist of the movie going to be? And I think the movie does a very good job of building up the suspenseful twist at the end that works incredibly well. And like I said, this is a movie that I don't think a lot of people really have talked about all that much. It definitely is one of those movies that was not a big hit when it came out critically or financially, but it's one I'd highly recommend checking out. It's one that if you want to see Robin Williams and one of his more underrated dramatic performances, this is a film that's definitely worth it to check out. This is one I highly recommend. Definitely check this one out. This is probably my favorite movie of the entire week. I really like this one a lot. Check it out, The Night Listener. And so, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. And the next time we meet, we take a look at 4 more movies, including Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan starring in the dance hit Step Up. The second of the 2 September 11th movies released in 2006. This one directed by Oliver Stone and starring Nicolas Cage and Michael Pena, World Trade Center. Kristen Bell starring in the horror film Pulse. And Tim Allen starring in Zoom, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And we'll delve more into that and these other movies on tomorrow's show, so be on the lookout for that. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button, because we post videos here every day, and you get updates on when those videos come out. Now, with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.